Down to Earth Network with your host, Sean Myrie. Please like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. This episode is called the Digital ID in the UK, right? So, this digital ID, what I've been hearing about for a good while. A lot of people they don't like this digital ID because it infringes on their rights or whatever. Like they feel that it's they're being invaded, their privacy is being invaded. But this is the future. Digital ID. We've been hearing that in America. We've been hearing that in Canada, and people in Canada and America, they've been fighting against this. They don't want this, right? UK was trying to push this shit for a while. This digital ID, pushing it, right? The UK, and recently they doubled down back. They're not gonna push it through. They're gonna make it voluntary. They wanted every child that's born in the UK to have this digital ID, but they're doubling down. Recent news, they're saying that it's voluntary, but down the line they're gonna push it, right? So this digital ID is gone for now. So what digital ID is that they're gonna have all your information, your health card, you have, or your health information, your employment information, um, a lot of information. They're gonna have your driver's license. So any information that has to deal with the government would be in this digital ID. They will know who you are. This is a way for, like, even for immigration, and to know who's who really in the population with this digital ID. So right now they're laying off, right? They're not going to go through, they're doubling down on this with the digital ID. But part of this digital ID is just to control. Like, for example, now, people who use social media, some people use fake names, nicknames. So they wanted to push that through for you to use social media. They're still doing that right now. They are still doing it, but it's not really enforced. They want to do that with all social media around the world, right? But UK, they were the ones pushing it the most. Yeah, that they wanted to force the population to with this digital ID, right? So it's not going through right now. And the other thing in regards to the social media stuff now, they've been arresting like 12,000. I heard 12,000 people got arrested over social media posts. Imagine, there's no freedom of speech. Like I was saying, there's no freedom of speech, especially in the UK. There's no freedom of speech. 12,000 people. Now they're claiming the reason they arrested certain people is for legit things like stalking people, harassing people, and stuff like that. But a lot of it is because people are talking against the government, right? Bless up, Muhammad, right? A lot of this is because of people talking against the government, and they're putting people in jail, like 12,000 people. 12,000 people in the UK, they lock up for social media comments. Now, it may sound crazy that they're doing this, locking up people over social media comments, but like I'm saying, there's no freedom of speech in the UK. So America would love to do the same shit, but their constitution kind of fights against it, right? Other places would like to do similar stuff, but they probably will do something similar, right? That's probably going to come 100%. That's going to happen. They're talking about, like, let's go back to this digital ID. America was talking about this. America was talking about this digital ID. Canada's talking about this digital ID. Um, so I don't know what people think about it, but it is coming down the line. If not today, if not tomorrow, if not a couple years from, it's going to come. It's going to come. UK obviously wanted it. They were really pushing for it. they were forcing the people to take it. But a lot of protests been going on, I'm hearing. So that is what's getting overshadowed, for example. With all the stuff what's going on with Trump, this is an example of what's getting overshadowed. Stories like this. In the UK, they had the digital ID pushing on people. They wanted everybody to have it. But now they're saying it's voluntary. Who's going to volunteer for that shit? Why would you volunteer for a digital ID? What's the benefits of this digital ID? What is it gonna do? So now the people they fought right against the government and they listened. This is a perfect example of the government listening when you come out and you fight for your rights. So in the UK, they came out in thousands saying no digital ID, no digital ID, and that went away now. Now they double down on it. But what's crazy though is the 12,000 people who got arrested for social media comments against probably the government, against a lot of things they don't believe in, and they arrested them for that. 12,000 people, not for serious crimes. So they, I seen the details. I read the details. They're saying it's not just for comments against the government and shit like that. It's for people who are stalking people, right? Harassing people. So you see how they say trolls in America, you're a troll and shit. So if you are on someone's post, right, and you are commenting negatively on them and saying a whole bunch of shit, they're gonna lock you up in the UK. You can't do what you do in America or Canada and other places in the UK. Damn. So will they lock you up for talking like going on social media and doing that to like other places in the world? I want to know. I am a troll. Yes, you are. Will they lock people up? Trolls we don't like. You got to be participating. Yes, you are. Yes, you are a troll. So the trolls are endangered. Trolls are endangered right now. They're endangered in the UK. They probably basically they got rid of that shit. So you can't do any of that in the UK. 12,000 people been arrested for that. That's why they probably wanted this digital ID. So digital ID is all like your health, your driver's license, right? Any government ID all in one so they could control, I guess, control people, right? America, are you ready for this digital ID? Canada, are you ready for this digital ID? Because they just double down for now. They're going to reintroduce it. They're definitely going to reintroduce this digital ID. It's going to come. So what you going to do? It's not a good thing. This digital ID is part of the new world. I don't want to say the NWO. It's part of that. That's one of the tools. The digital ID is one of that. It's like instead of them forcing the chip in you, that's what it is. That's what it is. Instead of the chip, they call it digital ID. So it's gonna go through. The only way you're gonna get some people to accept it more is have that universal income. So they're going to put it like this. If you want this universal income, you're going to have the digital ID. Let me say it again. If you want the universal income where the government is going to give you a certain amount of money every month, the only way you're going to get that is giving up yourself, right? So part of this is to monitor because they know it's social media is bigger than ever. People get the news from social media, and people they know social media is a powerful thing for people to revolt. So the 12,000 people, I don't know if that's a correct number, but it's really going on. It's really going on. I want to hear people's opinion. I want to see people's opinion on this. Would you go with the digital ID if they offered money? Was hmm If they offered the money to you, would you give up your freedom? If you were offered money every month, would you take the digital ID? I want to know, right? Because they were forcing it down people's throats. And because people went out in the streets and they're fighting for their rights not to have that system, the government doubled down, abandoned it, said, not fully abandon it. They're saying if you could voluntarily take the digital ID. Voluntarily, you could take the digital ID in the UK, right? But now it's just voluntarily. But on the other tip, the social media shit, if you do any comments, what they deem in the UK negative, you're going to prison, you're going to jail or some shit like that. They got time for you. They got time for you. So the trolls don't exist anymore in the UK. What do you call that? Is that there's no freedom of speech? I was saying that there really is none, but especially down there, they really are enforcing there's no freedom. Where is the freedom of speech? Doesn't exist in the UK. Freedom of speech doesn't exist everywhere. Freedom of speech is basically only as existing so far freely in America. That's the only place where full freedom of speech probably exists in America, but they'll lock you up in the UK for talking against the government. You see how people talk against Trump in America? If that's the UK, they lock you up. If that is in the UK, you're going to jail right now. 12,000 people. They're using their tax dollars to lock 12,000 people over comments. So the claim is for harassment. They claim it's for people but this is online, So they're saying this is sexual harassment, stalking. So by going after those people, which a lot of them are trolls, right? A lot of them are trolls. Troll, they're trying to put control on that whole shit. So that whole thing is dead now. Basically, you can't have no negative opinions towards anybody online in the UK. Imagine they done that in America. Imagine they done that in America that you can't say anything with your opinions to somebody who might be deemed negative. They'll put you in jail for that. Imagine they're gonna go after you and put you in jail for comments in America. Imagine that. But America has a constitution and they got freedom of speech. So in certain cases. But I mean, that won't happen. But imagine if a lot of you who like to talk, including myself, got locked up in jail just for your opinions. That's what's going on in the UK. So that means if you're visiting the UK and you're using their internet in the UK, you can't say shit about certain things. They want you to stay quiet. That's what's going on, people. Want to know what's next? They first they started with the digital ID. That's the first thing they started with in the UK. They wanted to force that down people's throats, right? And the people came out and they fought against that. So are the people in the UK gonna fight against the freedom to speak? Because right now you don't have it. You do not have it. There's been so much examples of people in the UK not having any freedom to speak their mind. It starts with the music, like for example, the rap drill music down there. they've been bringing people. I swear they've been convicting some of these UK rappers for the stuff what they are investigating, using it as evidence, investigating their lyrics if it's a violent lyric, and if it has to do with maybe certain crimes what has happened in London or the UK. They've been doing that shit. So basically, there's no freedom of speech in the UK. England, London, wherever in the UK, there's no freedom of speech down there. None. So you gotta be careful what you say if you're from the UK. Be very careful what you say because it doesn't seem that they're joking. This been the big news coming from that part of the world. So when we say distractions, it's a whole bunch of things going on at the same time, distracting people. It's distracting people. Who would think that 12,000 people got arrested for just social media comments? Social media comments. Imagine that. You're going to prison or jail for social media comments. You're gonna pay a fine for social media comments, right? So, this is the news, for example, what's not getting promoted or talked about too much is kind of getting shoved under the rug. Like how much Americans or Canadians or other people know about this, what's going on in the UK. Because if you visit the UK yourself, this can happen to you. This can happen to you if you go on social media and you say something bad. Really? Like, I'm wondering how this works. When they're on social media, if they do trolling or bad comments to, like, just say a post from American, does will they lock them up for that? Like, that shows you that they're watching. I know they're watching. This shows you proof. I don't think it's reported. All these arrests are not reported by the person who's getting harassed. Some of these reports are probably some of these arrests are monitored or are monitored. They've been monitoring somebody probably for a while, doing a campaign of um, going online, being a troll, if you want to call it, and saying, uh, I guess, speech against the government or what they deem as hate speech, you get arrested. We're living in some different times now. You see what social media has done? You see what social media has made and created? A monster, because part of this digital ID is social media. Part of these guys arresting 12,000 people is social media because people are social on it. And that's what's going on. So, are you ready for this? If they bring this for everybody, are you ready for this system of them taking away your freedom of speech? Because if UK is doing this, definitely other places may try to do this. Let me say it again. If the UK is taking away, right, your freedom of speech, people's freedom of speech, right, that means they'll do that everywhere else. But when you look in the details, they're trying to say the excuse for arresting a lot of people is harassment, stalking, and just stating their opinions against the government. So if they're saying, oh, we don't like this against the government of the UK and they're cursing, like they're doing it a certain type of way, okay, they're going to find your IP address and then they're going to show you all the stuff what you're saying and then they're going to arrest you. And when you go to court to defend yourself, they're going to bring up your social media. And then the judge is going to say, yo, is this true? How are you gonna say no, it's a lie? They have all the evidence. And then they're gonna prosecute you, and then you get locked up just for your damn comment. Right? They're gonna lock people up just for their comments. I hope you guys know that. They're going hard in the paint. Like I said, first it's the digital IDs, and then now it's social media. So this digital IDs is linked with the social media, like it or not. It's linked with the social media because what they want to start to do is when you sign up for social media, right? You're gonna have to show your identification, which is digital ID. Right now, for example, now I'll tell you they're kind of doing it. They're doing it kind of in America, but in a sneaky way. Right now, if you lose access, just say, because they do it, you lose access to your Instagram, and it's hard to get back into your Instagram. You have to, there's this thing where you have to take a picture, a headshot, to say that it's you. You have to, that's a digital ID. So you have to do this, you have to do this, you have to do that, and then you have to do this, and then you have to do that, and then you have to do this, and then you have to do that, and then they will give you back your access to Instagram. So they kind of already doing this digital ID in a different way. And they're doing it in America, they're doing it in Canada, they're doing it all through the world, whoever uses Instagram, for example. So when you lose your access and you can't get it, and it's hard to get back on Instagram, for example, you have to show your face. You have to go like this. You have to go like that. You have to go like this. And other social media platforms too. You have to show your government ID. So really, they do have digital ID, but in a certain level right now. It's not enforced, but they have it on social media. They do have digital ID on social media without you realizing it. They do. But in the UK, they were forcing it for all people, and now they just doubled down recently and say, "Oh, voluntary," because people was fighting against it. Right? They're fighting against it. They're fighting heavy against using doing the government having the access to the information. But one thing they're controlling now is what you can say. They're controlling that what you can't say right now, right? So if you talk against the system, if you say anything that they don't like, they're gonna put you in jail or prison. So what is that? That's kind of like communist. So is UK running a communist? Is that a communist government right now? Sounds like that. It sounds like a communist government because if you say anything against the Russian president in Russia, especially on social media, they're probably coming for you. You're probably getting locked up too. So the UK is doing something similar like Russia, like the communists. They're taking a book out of they're taking a page out of their book. They're doing communist business. Anybody have anything to say about that? So don't think it's just the UK. It's coming to America. Maybe not now, but it's coming to America. They've been talking about it. Don't make Trump jump on that shit, arresting people for comments. I think he supports freedom of speech. He supports freedom of speech. I don't think that's gonna happen because he likes to talk all types of shit. Whatever he wants to say, whatever he wants. He wants to probably post to whatever he wants, even if it sounds disrespectful. So I don't think that's really gonna happen in America in regards to Mr. Donald Trump. But maybe afterwards, if somebody comes after him, they might enforce similar shit like the UK. Are you guys ready for that? Would you want them to take away your freedom of speech, talking online, talking against the government, talking against certain things you don't believe, and then they arrest you just for commenting? That could happen. It's like the troll who was on earlier. You talk any type of funny business, imagine you're in the UK, they will arrest you just for the shit. So that shows you they're watching. And I know they've been watching a long time ago. I'm not surprised. So if they could threaten people that they're going to take away your freedom for your opinions, that's just the beginning of it. That's just the beginning of it. Soon they're going to do something where they're going to limit your access to the internet, certain people. All right? So soon they're going to know wherever you live. Just say you live in a place and they know that you're what's called a troll or you're one of these people. You probably will be, soon as you say anything, right, which they'll come back to you, but soon as you say anything, it will, you can't even comment. They'll probably shut that off. Or maybe you won't even be able to use the internet. How about that? Remember, UK has the biggest surveillance, it's one of the most biggest surveillance cities or whatever, countries and London cities in the world. So they got a system to watch everybody already. They have a system to watch everybody, for example, in London. So when you're not outside and you're inside now, they're watching you inside. So meanwhile, you're outside and they're surveillancing you crazy. They're watching you inside more than ever. Their eyes are really watching you. So down there is like, they act like they're all good, but down there is like a communist country. UK is almost like they're communists down there. That's what people would say. You cannot speak. There's no freedom of speech. There's no freedom of speech. You can't say anything really, else they'll lock you up. If you're a rap artist and you try to put some spicy lyrics like you done this and you done that in the UK, they're gonna investigate that shit and lock you up. They have locked people up. They have locked people up. That's why all these UK rappers, a lot of them, you see them with masks over their face, right? I heard that from one of my friends who's into UK rap drill a lot. They're saying a lot of these guys put the thing over their face because the lyrics, what they're speaking, can put them in prison. They will investigate these lyrics. So a lot of these guys come out, you never see their face. You don't know how they look. You don't know how they look. And the reason they put these masks on their face is not for style and fashion. They put these masks on their face to protect themselves in the UK. How much people know about that? So, this digital ID shit, they don't want that. No one wants digital ID. No one in the world wants any type of digital ID. But their argument could be for national security, right? Because you see what's going on right now. So this digital ID will filter out the population. So now they double down and they have said and mentioned that, right? They're not forcing it on people. It's going to be voluntary. They're going to voluntarily give you the option to voluntarily take it. And if it's not enough people voluntarily doing it, they're going to have to throw out some money. They're going to have to say, if you do this, we're going to give you an incentive that you're going to get this universal income. The universal income might not be much, but they're going to give a universal income. Will you take the money for your freedom? Will you take the money what a government gives you for your privacy? So if they offer you money every month, are you gonna give in? That's what I want to know. That's what I want to know. But like I'm saying, on social media, they've been locking people up in the UK. They have spies to watch. They have people to look what's going on. Like there's spies who come on here too. I see them. They come in and out, especially if you're not talking. If people are watching you, I know that a long time ago. If people are watching and you don't see no one talking, even if it's on Instagram, they see your post, they're not liking or commenting, but they're watching. They are watching you, guaranteed. You don't know who's watching you, and guaranteed it's the government sometime or the police. They are watching. I know that. I know that 100%. So, as I'm informing you guys out there in the universe, right? They are in the UK putting it down that all you trolls will go you'll go to prison or jail. All you trolls. That's finished. They killed that off. So imagine they do that in America. No, a lot of people won't even be online. The day they push the shit that they'll lock you up in America for speaking your mind, your opinions, a lot of people will come offline. I know that 100%. I say that again. The day they crack down, if they do this same shit in America and threaten to arrest people over social media shit, that's the day a lot of people come offline. Because a big percentage of people are online. A big percentage of people are online doing what they're locking people up for in the UK. 12,000. That is ridiculous. 12,000 in a small period of time they have already arrested. Maybe some people, they didn't stay long in jail, they came out, but the whole point is they are taking your freedoms, if there was any freedom of speech, away. Right? So what are you going to do? What are you going to do when the UK police come for you? What you going to do? Nothing. Will they go out in the street? This is what they should go out in the street for. This is what the UK people need to go out in the street for. The same way you went out in the street for the digital ID and then they double down, the same way you need to go out in the street and fight against this shit for being online and commenting. That's what you guys need to do. Go out in the street and fight for your rights for just commenting. Fight. Because if you don't, they're going to take away more and more. They're going to say, okay, no one is really protesting against this shit, what we just done. Okay, so they will take this. So let's do more and more and more and more. Are you ready for that? I don't think a lot of people are ready for that. All I gotta say, good luck to my fellow UK people. Um, you got to be careful online right now, else they're going to try to take your freedom away. You can't talk about anything what's controversial, especially against your own government. They will take you away. Um, and like I said, with the digital ID, they double down on that and they're giving you the freedom to pick if you want that shit. But anyways, people, please subscribe, like, comment, all that good stuff. I'm out.